Hello Superset Maniacs, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm broadcasting episode 5 of the series, The Goats of the Modern Era, as these episodes are more anticipated than the Game of Thrones episodes used to be, right guys? Okay, so jokes aside, today we're comparing Dorian, Ronnie, Jay and Phil in what I believe are their freakiest versions of all time. At least for Dorian, Ronnie and Phil. As for Jay, 2001 is widely regarded as being his best shape of all time, better than 2009, so this should be a good one. 95 is probably more appropriate for Dorian to go against these mass monsters, as I believe he reached his peak that year in terms of muscle mass, and he also had very good conditioning. 03 for Ronnie needs no introduction. In my opinion, this is his very best shape of all time. And 2016 Phil is probably his biggest version where he did not have an obvious stomach distension problem like in 2014, 2017 or 2018 for example. I think his 2016 version is often overlooked when talking his best shape of all time. Okay, so enough with the introductions, let's get to the poses. First pose is the front double bicep. It's a no-brainer that Dorian gets last place. His left bicep is missing one half basically, but regardless of the bicep tear, he still has the weakest set of biceps. His V-taper is impressive though, and if it wasn't for the bicep tear, maybe he would have beaten Phil here, who obviously has a bigger midsection than in his heyday, this being more obvious than for Ronnie for example, because Phil is narrower. This makes Phil third place in this pose. The obvious second place is Jay in spite of having the best controlled midsection, but how can anyone go against Ronnie here? It's true that his midsection is wide, but we are judging bodybuilding guys, not men's physique. In spite of that, he still has a pretty nice V-taper due to his incredible lats and wide shoulders, and those biceps are just from another world. Ronnie Coleman wins this pose. Next pose is the front lat spread, and look at Phil Heath guys. I mean I know he's narrow and all that, but he's filled with muscle everywhere. Anyway, he still gets last place here. He was never going to do any better in this pose. Third place it has to be Jay. I mean he has again the most impressive midsection, he is also the widest and has good lats, but Ronnie and Dorian are the masters of this pose. And speaking of this, who should get this pose guys? I know Dorian owns this pose, but look at this picture. Ronnie looks like he just ate a guy like Dorian. I can't wait to see those comments about him having no neck. Why does it matter guys? This isn't the neck spread, right? Jokes aside, Dorian looks like he is very comfortable in this pose. His lats are unmatched and he gets first place. You Dorianites can calm down now. Side chest, and let me clarify one thing guys, I'm not a Dorian Yates hater, not even close. Aside from bodybuilding, speaking of personality, life principles and stuff like that, I admire him the most from the bodybuilding world. But when I think someone else is looking better than him in a pose, I just call it as I see it, and yes, I may not be right, but at least I'm honest with you guys. But enough of this drama I myself just created right now. It pains me to give Dorian Yates last place again because I think he looked really good in this pose in 95. But these three other guys are just better than him in this pose. Cutler is third. He has bigger chest than Dorian, better arms and bigger shoulders. Okay, so Phil is giving Ronnie a tough fight for first place here, but Ronnie is just too big and has the better chest. Phil is crazy round and pound for pound he might be more impressive than Ronnie. However, Ronnie Coleman wins this pose, no doubt. Now let the fun begin in the back double biceps. Jay looks the driest upper body, probably even more than Dorian if you believe that. This is an impressive shot for Jay, but he is last, not too much to add here. If you ask me, it goes without saying that Ronnie Coleman is first in this pose. I mean, yeah, Dorian's traps are better, his lats insert lower and he has that grainy look. But Ronnie Coleman is wider, at least in this pose. He has the better delts, the better arms, the way better glutes and hams, and yes, Dorian gets the calves as well. I did not forget about Phil, don't worry, he battles Dorian for that second spot. Aside from his obvious narrowness, his back looks like the perfect balance between Ronnie's fullness and Dorian's details. He also has great arms, the best hams in this lineup, and also straighted glutes and decent calves. I'll give this pose to Dorian, but it might be a stretch. So Dorian second and Phil third in this pose. Next is the back lat spread, and as always, Jay Cutler is last place when we're talking back poses. He can't go against these guys. But for first place we have a battle between three men. This is always a tough one. If you look at Dorian and Ronnie upper body, they look pretty similar, don't you think, guys? Dorian's lats are better, but in this pose Ronnie's traps are better. I can see an argument for Dorian beating Ronnie upper body here, sure, but we can't ignore the other half of the body. So if upper body is like 51% Dorian and 49% Ronnie, downstairs is more like a 60-40 for Ronnie. But what about Phil? Phil comes with a completely different package, so this is like comparing bananas with pineapples. Enough of apples and oranges, alright? I know Phil is narrow, I know he is smaller, and I know you guys love to hate on this guy, but that back, man. And he also beats Dorian downstairs, so he must beat Dorian at least here. So yeah, Ronnie is first, Phil second and Dorian third, but this is unfairly close for them to be ranked in such a way. I would give them all first, but I don't want to go that way. Side triceps. This is the moment where Ronnie takes a step back and lets these guys catch up some ground. Ronnie Coleman is last place, mostly because of the tricep itself, of course. Jay looks awesome here, but he can't do more than third place, somehow unfairly. And now, in the main event of the side triceps pose, Phil Heath versus Dorian Yates. Phil has the meatier lateral head and it also looks more striated, but I can't take my eyes from that horseshoe of Dorian. I'm going to penalize Phil for his little stomach distension and put him in second here. Dorian Yates wins the side triceps. Abs and thighs, and I don't know, man. I don't think Ronnie is getting last place in this pose no more. I think Phil looks worse than him. Phil is getting last place and Ronnie third in this pose. And you know this is Jay's turn to win a pose, guys. Look at that midsection. It looks like it's carved out of stone. And I know this is an expression that should be used only for Dorian's back, but it's my video, so I say what I want, okay? Dorian Yates gets second place here because no way he can beat Jay, who has the better abs and the better thighs. There you have it, guys, abs and thighs. Last pose is the most muscular, and I'm telling you guys, if it wasn't for that obvious bicep there, I would have put Dorian higher in this pose, but he gets last place. But this most muscular from Dorian is quite impressive. Okay, so the obvious winner in this pose for me is Phil Heath. I mean, look at him, he looks crazy. Arms, forearms, delts, straps, straighted chest, everything. Phil wins this pose. Between Ronnie and Jay, that stomach on Ronnie really disturbs me, guys, but other than that, he simply destroys Jay here. If this was like 09 Jay, he would have beat this most muscular of Ronnie, but in 01, his most muscular was not that impressive. So Ronnie gets second and Jay third place in this pose. So the final score is the following. Jay is last with 23 points. Dorian and Phil tie for second place with both of them having 21 points, and Ronnie Coleman unsurprisingly wins this comparison again with 15 points. As always, Dorian, Jay and Phil are very tight, so basically it can go either way between them three if you ask me. But Ronnie Coleman looks from a different league. He won in every single episode so far, so it's more than obvious that he is the GOAT of the GOATs. Which means he's the greatest of all time, guys. I hope you're not thinking at any animals right now. That being said, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more videos like this, and as always, thank you guys and see you next time.